Meantime, the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, MTTD, has also been talking about, road accident. They say the road accident recorded between 2021 and 2022 have declined by 7.5%. In 2021, there were 16,182 crashes compared to 14,960 crashes in 2022. Deaths as a result of road accident have also reduced by 20.10% from 2,970 to 2,373. The Ghana Police Service Motor Traffic and Transport Department released statistics for the year 2022. Let's take a look at those details now. So we'll bring you those details, but the Road Safety Authority is applauding itself for its contributions towards the achievement made in the reduction of accident or incident during the period. Now, Acting Director of the Authority, Engineer David Adontin, joins us live with more. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us. Now, good news for the country as vehicles involved in road accident have declined, which is also as a result has resulted in crashes declining. What could we say is attributing to this development?
Good morning, and thank you very much. Happy New Year to you and to all of you. I must say that, first of all, let me commend all Ghanaians for supporting the National Road Safety Authority in achieving this result in 2022. Indeed, it's been as a result of hard work, good leadership by the National Road Safety Authority, and then rallying around the authority, the also efforts of our stakeholders, most particularly the media, and then the Ghana Police Service. I must say the DVLA, the road agencies, and all of us have worked together jointly to contribute to where we are so far. We started this whole dispensation when this year we took it upon ourselves and had it as a vision to start the reduction of road traffic crashes and associated injuries from this year, putting in place measures that practically will inure on a benefit on what we do. We started with a campaign, with the Stay Alive campaign, coming all the way the past 3 years, and 2 years ago, we have the Drive Safe campaign also from multimedia supporting us very strongly. We have other media houses also taking it upon themselves to highlight more on the issues related to road traffic crashes. The advocacy from our advocates, the communication was very strong. We're able to drive the whole Ghana along with us to instill discipline in road use. We had a police, especially the IGP, Akufu Dampare, also coming strongly with some enforcement measures. He brought in the PARI, Police Action Against Rider Indiscipline, the Police Invisible Eye, and a few others to support the campaign. So whilst we were using education, the National Road Safety Authority and other stakeholders, we had the police also support them with practical enforcement on the ground. And that is how come you see that, for example, motorcycle safety has now been highlighted very clearly. We have seen the number of motorcycles involved in crashes reduced. Hitherto, that was one of the most critical problems and challenges we were facing. How to hold these motorcycle riders. Some of them, as you call them, Okadas and so on. But we wanted to find a strategy to hold down the crashes as related to these motorcycle riders. And I think we did very well. The police brought in the PARI. We supported with education. And then we had some of you from the media, for example, Mata Crenstill, coming with Red Assault Massagina. All these kind of things were put together. And today, here we are, singing a song of achievement as regards the number of crashes, the number of injuries, and the number of fatalities, and then also the number of vehicles involved in the crashes, the pedestrians involved, and motorcycles involved, commercial, and so on. So I think collectively, we all take the credit. And I must say that we commend every Ghanaian, both senior, junior, and wherever we are, we have all contributed to this achievement.
Now, the numbers are still high anyway. So what more should we do to ensure that, we continue on the reduction line to reduce the number of carnage on our road?
Yes, I think my motivation is that it is refreshing, very exciting to see numbers coming down. That is a clear manifestation of the fact that we are committed, we are focused, and then we are up to the task. Indeed, even one death is too high because if you consider the repercussions on families, on society, and so if you have 2,000 and over deaths, it's still very high. 2,373 is still very high. But if we're able to make some savings, close to about 500 and some, close to 600 deaths, it means that if we put in more effort, we can make it. Assuming this year we are able to step up our game, education, enforcement, advocacy, and the rest, and then we are able to do more to reduce by 30% again, that means that we are hitting less than 2,000, maybe 1,600, 1,500 thereabouts. And then we keep on moving. Gradually, at one point in time in the near future, we may see deaths less than 1,000. And that would be very, very, very a huge achievement globally. We are targeting us by global road safety practices and then by the UN Decade of Action is saying 50% reduction by the year 2030. Now, we have started with 20% reduction. If we are able to do more this year, do more the next year, and so on, and if the requisite resources and efforts are then provided, I am sure that in no time in the course of the year, we will hit this 50% reduction in fatalities before even the year 2030. And I think that is what we are up to. And so we are going to step up our game. We'll continue to engage the media, continue to run the Stay Alive campaign, carry the people of Ghana, all the whole Ghanaians along with us. The media are going to play a very significant role. And then we see how this IGP would also now populate the road space with enforcement. Currently, the police are going to roll their camera enforcement of speed this year. And that is exactly what has done the trick for us. We stamped on the flouting of the law regarding speed. We had to put measures to stop people or prevent people from driving at excessive speed. And so we were able to achieve that. So if police is coming up this year with all the cameras on the highways in the cities to detect and apprehend traffic offenders in relation with the traffic speeding, red light jumping, and so on, I am sure we can do a lot. And that is what I think we are going to leverage on to see the figures coming down very much of it this year.
Grateful that you could join us here. Engineer, I don't think that. But let's share with you the details that shows that indeed the road carnage is on a decline now. Total number of accidents recorded in 2022, we had 14,960. In 2021, it was 16,182. So the difference in there is 1,222. That's the number of accidents recorded. In terms of regional classification, so which region recorded which number? Greater Accra recorded 5,633. That's for, in terms of the total accident. Fatality-wise, Greater Accra recorded 370. Now, the next is Ashanti region, which recorded some 3,372 total accidents. But in terms of fatality, it recorded 382. The Eastern region came third with 1,478 total accidents. And then in terms of fatal cases, they recorded 329 cases of that. Now in Tema recorded 1,025 accidents. Fatalities recorded were 115 of them. The Central region recorded 656 accidents. Fatalities recorded were 111. Now, so let's continue with the total number of vehicles involved in terms of the regional breakdown. Greater Accra, commercial vehicles involved were 2,607. Private vehicles involved were 6,047. Now, in the Ashanti region, commercial vehicles involved were 2,349. Private vehicles involved 2,136. In the eastern region, commercial vehicles involved were 1,148. In terms of the private, 928. In the central region, commercial vehicles, 444. That of the private vehicles, we had 391. So let's now look at the total persons killed, 2022 compared to 2021. In 2022, we had 2,373 people being killed. Compared to 2001, which recorded 1,117, it means that in 2022, we had 1,356 people more being killed as compared to 2021. Moving on to other stories now, and the various construction companies working in various parts of the country have laid off more than 3,000 workers combined for reasons being tied to the IMF conditionalities. General Secretary of the Construction and Building Materials Workers Union of the TUC Ghana, Mr. Richard Asamoah Boateng, says the Bank of Ghana has communicated to affected companies that it will not honor payment for work done. How so? He joins us live on the telephone lines now for more. Grateful to you, Asamoah, for joining us here. Now, you say that the Bank of Ghana has communicated to that. On which evidence are you basing these allegations on?
Now, good morning, please. In the first place, I said I'm Asamoah Mensah, the General Secretary for Construction and Building Material Workers, and not Asamoah Boateng. And the project I'm talking about is about contractor, Sinohydro, Viabuild, Amandi, Rolida, to mention a few. And it isn't about Bank of Ghana, which is not allowed them payment. A lot of workers are being sent home. Good, I said. And this is affecting grant projects. These grant projects have come out. Some of the companies have come out, specifically Sinohydro, that they are no more going to continue the work they are doing unless the government comes out clearly with them. And this is affecting all over Sinohydro company in Ghana. Again, there are other companies like Amandi Investment, which has also laid out about 1,500 workers now home because government has not made payment to them. Contractor, the same thing, about 121 workers at Market Circus, Sakradi. Kumasi, about 335, and they are all complaining of payments to them. Now, with Sinohydro, which is a grant project, they have to finish this job at Western Region, that is the overhead, by June. And they are about 80% completed. Now, they have 3 major certificates which is ready for payment. And what happens is that normally when the contractor finishes with his job, with his claim, he will take it to the consultant. The consultant will have to take it to the Ministry of Roads and Highways. From there, it will have to get to, now from Urban Roads, the consultant will send it to Urban Roads before the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and then to the Ministry of Finance, back to the contractor, and then to the bank for payment. And this bank is in China, and the Ghana government makes sure that they grant permission, they give approval for payment. Now, a letter was released from the Ministry of Finance on the 19th of December, which was headed as suspension of payment on selected external debt of the government of Ghana. And because of this letter, the Chinese have held payment of this claim, of this contract claim, because they see it to affect them and they want more and deep knowledge about this letter. It is not being done by the government of Ghana. And because of that, they have stopped work. As I speak to you, on the 7th of this very month, we met them. That was last Saturday. They came out emphatically that because they are not having a clear and deep understanding of the letter sent out, and they believe their bankers in China might have had a copy of this letter. Based on that, their claims are not going to be paid to them, are not being paid to them. And they have no money to continue the job. And on the 14th, they are laying off all workers of Sinohydro in Ghana. And if I say in Ghana, it includes Western region, it includes Sunyani, it includes Kumasi, and even Boga. This is a blow to the construction industry. And we want the government, we have written letters to the government to this effect, for them to take serious action about that. But we want the whole world to also know what is happening. Because we cannot fold our arms when such an issue is going on in our country.
Okay, so this is tied down to the IMF deal, right? Like you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, but that's with Sinohydro. What about Viabil? What about Contractor and all of them? Is that also related to the same IMF deal?
Contractor is saying that they are also not being paid their claims, and that is why they are laying off workers. So they started this action before the IMF deal even came. But they are saying that with even the introduction of the IMF, a deal has given them more problems to even lay off more workers. And you can best understand that the whole market sector, which is under construction, is left with about 19 workers there. A lot of workers have gone off. And this issue of suspension of payments of debt is to also affect the Viabels who are also constructing the Sekendita Credit Road. So we want the government to open the eye and look and have a depth knowledge of this, because it is something we cannot sit down, wait for the contract to be suspended. Okay.
All right. So since you wrote to the government, have you had any response?
Because we met the contractors just last week, we are yet to have response from them.
Okay. All right then. So as we speak, if we go to this construction site, will we see that work have been suspended, or there are work still being
if we surely go to the site now of contract, you get to know that they have reduced workers to the tune of about 121 at the market sector, left with about 19 workers. If we get to Kumasi, the same, they've reduced workers by 339. Now, at Takrady now, as I speak, 453 workers are going home. They've been served with letters of notice. And it's a short notice, 2 weeks, and 14, they are paying them off. Now, if you get to Amandi, you also get to know that about 500 workers have been sent home, leaving about 500 workers, because government is not paying them. And the good aspect of Amandi is we were able to arrange with management that no, they should try and pay them at least 50% while they are home, and look at the payment from January to February and see. And this is dangerous, because if you don't take time, it is going to bring chaos in the system. It has started already. Rolida, the same thing as Jasikai, has sent home about 359 workers because government is not paying them. And this is something we need to look into as to why government is saying that they are paying, contractors are saying they are not paying, and we have seen it now happening. And this is what we are saying. We've written to the government. We want an answer, and we want the media to also know what is happening, so that it doesn't turn as if we are not concerned of what is going on in the country.
Okay. So as for contractors who are not being paid, it used to be a regular thing in this country. It's not really because of IMF. So is it that these are the two factors working in this this time around, or it's because of the IMF deal? Because I'm getting you talk about contractors not being paid.
I will not specifically take it to the IMF deal.
Okay. All right.
But already they are not being paid, and the IMF deal has also come to impound problems on these contractors. So it's a two-way affair I want us to look at now.
Okay. I'm grateful to you, Mr. Asamoah Mensah. He is the General Secretary of the Construction Workers and Material Workers Union of the TUC Ghana. There's still News Desk here on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Now, among several factors accounting for Ghana's inability to effectively deal with its sanitation challenge is poor management of plastic waste. Our latest Hotline documentary, The Plastic Garbage, A Crisis of Our Time, I put a spotlight on the menace of plastic waste and its impact on the country's waste management. If you missed the full documentary last night, here is an excerpt for you ahead of the repeat at 6:30 p.m. tonight on the JoyNews channel.
I prefer the glass bottles. You know, with the plastic bottles, it has become a big, let's say a big challenge, and you see that a lot of plastics on the streets. You see a lot of plastics on the street, but it is very difficult to see glass on the streets. Yeah, so I will go for the glass bottle.
So how is this impacting the decision of restaurant operators? Isaac Lai is a supervisor at Champion Dishes at Dabraka. He says people consider the easy handling of the bottles they choose.
Maybe the person wants to take it out or something, or want to take it home. The person cannot, most of the glass bottles, you cannot take it out. But with the plastic ones, you can take it out. Yeah, but most of the people who come to Champion Dishes, so they prefer the plastic bottle because most of them, what they say is that the plastic bottle is easily to handle. And with that one, you can take it out. But for the glass bottles, when you need to drink it and then leave the bottle here.
To him, some people also do consider the health impact of the two before choosing.
You know, the plastic one, when it's easy, after taking the drink, you dispose the bottle. You need to put it in the bin or something. But with the glass one, what most of them have in mind is that with the glass one, after taking in the drink, it will be sent to the company. The bottles will be sent to the company, and then maybe they need to go through a process of cleaning. Yeah, they need to clean it and stuff before they can refill and then cover it again. But with the plastic one, now after they've taken the drink, they will dispose it. They have to put it in the bin, and then after everything, they have to put it in the bin. Then when they put it in the bin, with that one, it will be disposed into. They will throw it away or something, or it will be taken to a recycle place for them to. Yeah.
Our penchant for everything plastic, including water, has given the country a huge headache in terms of managing it. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, plastic pollution is a global problem. Approximately 7 billion of the 9.2 billion tons of plastic produced from 1950 to 2017 became plastic waste, ending up in landfills or dumped. So what do researchers say? Professor William Gordon, a professor at the Environmental Studies at the University of Ghana, says research has shown that people ingest plastic particles from drinking water in a plastic bottle.
Recent study looked at bottled water in about 9 different countries. And they looked at around 260 samples. And they found that there was an average of about 325 pieces of microplastic per liter. So if you drink just one bottle of water, the 500 mils, that means in a year you will ingest about 50,000 particles. Now the particles are of different sizes and they have different impacts. So they range from the size of human hair to the size of a red blood cell in your blood, the one you have to use a microscope to see. And if you have something around the size of 20 microns, a micron is, let's say, 1,000th of a millimeter. So it's very, very small. It can actually pass through your blood vessels into your organs. So it will end up in your liver, it will end up in your kidney, And if you don't excrete through the urine, it will accumulate in your body.
This is still the news desk on the JoyNews channel. Now, this morning on the AM show, the team had an exclusive interview with Dr. Yahoyaho Tamaklo, one of the leading social commentators and political commentators in the country. Let's bring you an excerpt of that particular interaction.
Has he done for the party? He should come out with it. I don't know him. Others I mentioned, I know them, and I know the work they have done in the party. Maybe he might have done something for the party. If he has done something for the party, he should come forward and let us know. But I don't know what he has done for the party. All the names, the three names that I mentioned, even Baumia, definitely has done something for the party within the short period that he has been in. But you ask yourself, will he be able to get the leadership of the party? That's the question you ask yourself.
So for you, as it stands now, there's not one person in the party who will or deserves to be the automatic leader going into the 2024 elections. What would it take for any of these people that you've mentioned to lead the party in 2024?
I think we have some in the offing. I think so. There are a few names I might have heard of the offing, but they have not come out yet to let us know that they are interested. So let's wait, and when they come out, one can know what to do. Few individuals, I think, will be considered seriously by the members of our party.
You talk with, it appears to me, with such pain about the current state of your party. You use words like, this is not how it was in the beginning and all that. The new crop of executives of the NPP as we speak, do you see them changing the trajectory to go back to what you refer to as what the party was known for and stood for? Or do you think that it's another trajectory of course?
That's a good question. Now, the recent national executive race we had was quite interesting. Now, what is painful is that those who we know that they are young people who has experience and the courage to work on the basis of the principles of the party rules and regulations.
Return to our earlier story about Ghana Gas senior staff workers calling on the president to intervene in how the Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, is managing the affairs of Ghana Gas. Now, a statement issued this morning, the workers of Ghana Gas were unhappy about the manner Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh is handling the issue of the concurrent existence of Gensa Energy Ghana Limited's gas conditioning plant and Ghana Gas gas processing plant Train 2. Chairman of the Association, Richmond Alamu, joins us live on phone now. Thank you so much, sir. What are the specifics regarding the misgivings that you have towards the Energy Minister's oversight over the sector? Hello, Mr. Alamu.
Hello, good morning.
Great. Grateful that you could join us here. So want to really understand the specifics of your issues with what is happening now.
Okay, good morning to you and good morning to your cherished listeners. I think you've seen the press release. I don't know whether you've read it, but our point is just simple. We want this Gensa deal, which we believe the minister is then pushing to be signed, altered, and reversed. That's all we want from the workers of Ghana Gas.
Why do you want the contract halted? What are the issues with that?
Okay. Let me tell you. Let me just give you a 20 seconds brief history of Ghana Gas. Ghana Gas was established under the leadership of his late ex-president, His Excellency John Evans Samuel. And before Ghana Gas came or was established, there were a lot of foreign companies or private companies that wanted to build a gas plant. But through his great inspiration and vision, he thought it wise for we to have a government company to benefit to a larger extent majority of Ghanaians. And after that vision, the gas plant was constructed, which was also commissioned by ex-president John Dramani.
Yeah. So we know of all of these details. So what are the fears that if they allow Gensa to set up a gas plant, what do you fear?
So let me tell you, there are a lot of genesis. If you don't understand the basis to where we are praying to be done, you understand. If this Gensa deal is passed, if you can see the Bryce Simmons, the Emani, and ASEF report on this Gensa issue. We don't believe that is the best way for it to go. Apart from Ghana Gas, VRA, ECT, workers have also expressed the same similar concern. Let me tell you, a company that owns the nation for taking gas that have not paid and is being given the same approvals to use the same money or some more money to construct a gas plant. A company, Gensa, repatriates over 80% of its gas proceeds outside Ghana to South Africa to a company called Oppenheimer. Let me tell you this. We, the workers of Ghana Gas, we do not want this issue to be made political. We want to talk on the technical issue. This deal is very bad for the nation Ghana. That's what we pray to be reversed.
Now, what are your fears if the intervention you are expecting doesn't come through?
Let me tell you, this intervention will come through because you can imagine some years back the issues that we used to have with Johnson in the country. Since the inception of Ghana Gas, this issue has been resolved. And as a nation, we have no other option to make sure that this Gensa deal is reversed. Ghana Gas currently contributes about 75% of the fuel for power generation. So this issue cannot be, a blind eye cannot depend on this Gensa deal to be reversed or be halted. For the workers of Ghana Gas, our point is simple. The issue about Gensa deal is very bad for the nation Ghana, and in the long term, will have a lot of financial consequences for the nation. Not to talk alone about even going to collapse state-owned companies like Ghana Gas, VRA, ECT, and Co.
But how will Gensa lead to the collapse of Ghana Gas? Let us understand.
So the reason why we are saying that Gensa currently is being, we feel the Energy Ministry is pushing for them to build a gas processing plant. For you to build a gas processing plant, you need raw gas to process. And currently, we have about 200 million scf of raw gas. Currently, Ghana Gas processes about close to 120 to 150 million scf per day. So if they are processing, if this gas plant from Gensa is being approved, where are they going to get their raw source of gas from? Eventually, then they have to take the same raw gas that Ghana Gas processes at a cheaper rate to Ghanaians. So this is what we are calling for. This Gensa, apart from that, Gensa is a company that repatriates over 80% of its revenue outside Ghana. And if you look at what Ghana Gas brings to most Ghanaians, apart from the president's initiative of indigenizing the workforce to make sure that we save about $2.8 million per day, right? It's also provided indirect and direct jobs for over 1,000 Ghanaians. Not to talk about the corporate social responsibility aspect of issues in terms of the education sector, health sector, and other sectors.
Well, but Mr. Alamo, you just stated that you are able to process 120 million, whilst there's some 200 million barrels of gas, raw gas coming in. So there's an extra that needs to be processed, isn't it? Is that not what they want to take advantage of?
Exactly. So this is what it is. Last year, the President's State of the Nation address the president stated emphatically that we need to build, Ghana Gas needs to bring a second plant on board for it to be able to process the extra gas reserves that we have. So with this Genstar deal coming, right, bringing a private company, that means that vision will not be materializing. So that's why we are calling for this Genstar deal to be reversed or cancelled.
Okay. All right. Ms. Alamu, I'm grateful that you could join us. Richmond Alamu is the chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Ghana Gas. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we have business for you. Stay with us.
Good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Ghana's international creditors have given assurance they will fast-track discussions on the country's request for debt cancellation. This is what Joy Business has picked up from persons working with the Paris Club of Creditors. Here's more in this report.
Joy Business understands that it was this commitment that has seen government press ahead with talks with these developed countries on the debt cancellation. Sources say the Paris Club have agreed in principle to engage Ghana on the possible debt cancellation. The discussion is being done through the G20 debt framework championed by the IMF. We also understand that the request was made by government because it was one of the ingredients that could fast-track the process when it comes to the IMF board approval for the country's economic program in the first quarter of this year. This will convince the IMF that going forward, a lot more is being done by government to ensure that it brings its debt to sustainable levels. Sources say, looking at the way the discussions are progressing, it is likely that the country could have its debts cancelled. However, it is not clear for now their stated condition. This is because this is the first time that the country has got its debt cancelled. It got a similar relief when it signed up to the HIPIC initiative for poor countries in the year 2000. We also understand that this debt cancellation deal is different from other measures the government is already undertaking when it comes to its domestic debt exchange program, as well as its debt freeze for its external creditors.
Now, our cocoa board is forecasting about 750,000 tons of cocoa production this crop season. This is expected to be higher than the last season's production. There is more in this report.
Ghana achieved a historic feat of more than 1.14 million tons of cocoa production, about 45% increase in the 2020-2021 crop season. However, this fell significantly in the 2021-2022 crop season, though official figures are yet to be made available by Cocoa Board. But reports indicate that Ghana's graded and sealed cocoa arrivals stood at 350,000 tons by December 15 since the start of this crop season. This is up 76% from the 199,000 tons in the same period the previous year. The 2022-2023 crop season commenced in October last year. The producer price to be paid at all buying centers is 384 cedis per load of 30 kilograms for grade 1 and 2 cocoa beans, or 800 cedis per bag of 64 kilograms. A ton of 16 bags is, however, going for 12,800 cedis.
And that's your business update. Sports is coming up next. Do stay tuned.
All right, so welcome back from the break. Time for us to talk sports, and the man Lawrence is in the house. Hi, Lawrence. How are you?
I'm good, Sam. And you?
I'm good.
You know, we are just 3 days away from the start of the 2023 CHAN tournament. I don't know what you've made of Ghana's preparation so far. I don't know how well we've followed them, but then there's confidence within the team that they are very well prepared ahead of the start of the tournament on Friday. But then Ghana plays its first game 2 days later after the start of the competition. There's the case. They've been in Algeria for quite a number of days now, probably a week, since leaving Egypt, where they played 2 friendly games against the Egyptians under 20 side and then Al Ahly in the Egyptian top flight. They won both games, and then they moved to Algeria, where they continued their preparation. They faced the Algerian home-based side, who will also be playing the CHAN tournament. They failed to score, neither did they also failed to concede, so it ended 0-0. A result that many will feel that it's a good one for the Black Galaxies, because if you've played these friendly games and then you've not lost any, it means you are doing a good job. Today they played the last friendly game against Mozambique, a side that will also be competing in the CHAN tournament. This is the case. Arnold Walker has put a lot of energy in putting together this team. When they went to Egypt, they were likely that some players will have to leave due to transfers. Yes, some have come. Well, we are lucky to still have a free Barnier in the team. Because
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, the contract he extended with Hearts will probably see him stay with the Black Galaxies until the tournament is over. Then he will leave for Switzerland. Over the weekend, we saw one departure in Idris Abdullahi, the Bichem United goalkeeper, because he has now moved to Azam outside Ghana, so which means he's ineligible to play in the Chan tournament. Luckily for Arnold Walker, he's brought in. Well, it wasn't really going to be a problem because Idrisu is more like the second goalkeeper, a backup goalkeeper. Okay. But then now he's brought in the Great Olympics goalkeeper, who seemed to be a replacement for Idrisu. So
who's the first choice? The
first choice is obviously Kotoko's Danlad Ibrahim. If you look at his growth with the respective national teams over the course of the years, well, there's no doubt he deserved the number one status for two.
That he was the reason why I asked. So
exactly.
That's fine.
So they'll play today at 3:30. Hopefully they are able to put all their guns together and then master a win. That will boost their confidence ahead of their opening game against Madagascar on Sunday. Okay. So the competition itself starts on Friday. We know the host nation is Algeria, and then we are in a group with Sudan, Morocco, and then Madagascar. Let's take note that Morocco are the current they are the defending champions of the competition because they won it in 2020. This is the case with the Black Galaxies. You know, we've been there. We've been there on a number of occasions, and our best has been silver medalist performance in
Côte d'Ivoire
and in 2014. So hopefully we are able to grab the first choice.
All right then, thank you very much. So that's your sports, and that's how we wrap up today's bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Praise to enjoy the rest of our shows. Have a good morning.